Good evening and welcome to the overnight edition of From Day 1, Part 3. In other words, Part 2 of Art Bell's final radio show ever. Remember, he died just a little more than 2 years after this, the last show that aired March 11th, 2016. Due to medical and otherwise issues in late December of 2015, his producer had taken over the reins of the Midnight in the Desert show. He returned for this one show in March of 2016, and that's what we have tonight. Part 2, we get back to Art.
To initiate a dialogue sequence with Art Bell, please coordinate your phalanges and call 1-952-225-5278. That's 1-952-CALL ART.
And there are other ways. If you're fortunate enough to have Skype on your phone or computer or whatever, you can get to us, and you'll sound really good, too. Here in North America, we are MITD 51. That's MITD 51. And outside North America, welcome. MITD 55 on Skype. That's MITD 55. And we're talking about whatever you want to talk about tonight. I have simply said that it's okay to talk politics, and so far it's kind of been going that way. I might also ask you about the ongoing battle between the government and Apple. I wonder where you come down on that. Yeah, it's important. It's a terrorist's phone. But Apple's saying, basically, if we write that, well, your privacy is gone. That's a pretty compelling argument if you got their product, right? But the other argument's compelling, too. So they are dissimilar and never to meet. Though there is one thing that I don't understand. Why can't the government just give the phone to Apple and say, open it, don't tell us how, and then give it back? We'll do what we have to do with the phone, and that's that. So that way Apple could keep the code that got the job done secret, but open it for the government. Now, there's probably a hole in that theory somewhere because they haven't done it. Seems like a common sense solution to me if possible. But they haven't done that, so there's got to be a reason why, right? Let's go to, I'll just hit this and it will pick Hayes, Kansas, I think, on Skype. Hello there, you're on the air. Hello? In Hayes, Kansas is what it says. You're on the air. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. And hello there. You instead are on the air because whoever it was in Kansas went away. Hello?
Hi, Art.
Prevent your Art, I feel like you're striking out.
How have you been?
Very well indeed, thank you. How about yourself?
Oh, I've been good.
Where are you?
For you.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Spokane, Washington.
Okay, Spokane. Excellent.
Yes. And I've got a ham radio joke for you.
A what joke? Ham radio. Okay, go ahead.
What did the ham operator say when he fell off his tower? Ouch, that megahertz.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'll remember it when I'm climbing.
Yep. Yeah, all right. That's all I got for you, Art.
That's it. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Hello there. You're on the air.
Hello, Art.
Hello.
Yes. Hold on a second. I got to turn something off.
Okay. Yeah, I'll always do that. I mean,
yeah.
You got plenty of warning you're going to be on the air, so.
Oh, it was a furnace that kicked on and it was loud and it just kicked on.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was going to tell you that what you would do if you had no fear.
Yes.
And it involves kind of, you'd have to have money too and technology, I guess. But you gave me the idea, but not flying. But I would want to dive into the ocean if I had a suit that could like change seawater into oxygen or whatever, and you're protected from pressure and temperature and all that.
Oh, that'll come soon, sir. Science is advancing quickly, and if you want gills, you'll get gills.
But I mean, be able to go deep and check and investigate these USO bases.
Yeah, well, that's what gills are for.
With cameras on it and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what gills are for. If it wouldn't be that hard to do. They're coming right along with genetic science, and before you know it, you'd be a fish. Hello there, just says U.S. Cellular, so you get away with that. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay, great. I have a million questions to ask you. This is Heather in Providence.
Hello.
Hello. But I guess I'll stick with the mundane. I have a question because I know you're a huge Trump supporter.
No, wait a minute. That's not fair. I'm not a huge Trump supporter. I'm excited by what's going on. I haven't decided if I'm a huge Trump supporter. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about him, kicking protesters out in, 9-degree weather and saying to take their coats before they kick them out?
Well, it's not as bad as water. It's not as bad as waterboarding.
No, it's not.
Give me your coat. You're out of here.
But, that's kind of, nothing. I mean, it could be, it's kind of, well, I didn't want to say it, but yes, I'm going to say it, fascist.
Why not take their coat and their shirt? Now, see, that's embarrassing.
Well, no, because you're not supposed to do that to people that disagree with what you say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's right. Yeah. But in a way, I'll argue, just for the sake of argument for you. Now, these protesters, they are trying to, and did, in fact, infringe on his right to free speech, right?
Well, yeah, they were trying to. Well, no.
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, he didn't get to speak. He had to cancel the rally for fear of violence.
He didn't cancel it, though, did he?
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did. No, he did. Oh, no, hon. In Chicago.
He went on.
In Chicago tonight, he canceled a rally.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was more speaking about Vermont. But,
I see. No, he canceled a rally with thousands and thousands of people, as he would say. Excellent people. Lovely people. He canceled. Well, they weren't all lovely people. I mean, there were protesters from an very organized group, and I mean, making him cancel a thing like that's like taking somebody's First Amendment away.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if that's really the reason he canceled then, because that doesn't seem like he would cancel for that reason.
Well, he did. He canceled on the advice of the police authorities in Chicago.
Oh.
Because they were worried about what was going to happen.
Well, I mean, but, the speeches he had before in other places like Vermont, he's like...
Yeah, they've had some small things, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about that? Don't you think that's like a bad omen?
Well, I mean, if you're giving a political speech, it's just rude to interrupt somebody in the middle of that, don't you think?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to kick them out and take their clothes in 9-degree weather.
Well, like I said, I mean, they really should have taken the shirt too.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anyway, I get where you're coming from.
Okay.
I just don't agree with it, but that's all right.
Okay.
Would you what to do if you go to a Trump rally and you're going to protest? You need to layer up. You got another one underneath.
Yeah.
All right, for the call, and take care. And you are on the air wherever you are. Hello. Hello. What? Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Did you? Oh, is it me?
Only you know that for sure, but it sounds like it might be you.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I heard somebody else coming on. Hey, you old rascal. It's good to have you back on the air. You sound great.
Thank you. Thank you. What's up?
You know, I'm just going to say I'm a pretty liberal guy. You know, I'm a ex.
How liberal are you? Are you Hillary liberal?
No, I'm saying I'm an ex-liberal. Well, I'm somewhat liberal.
So you're definitely not a Bernie liberal.
No, I like Bernie over Hillary. I like Bernie very much.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
Then you're very liberal. I mean, really liberal.
Yeah. Yeah, except the guy that I would vote for definitely is Trump. I am excited about the fact that the status quo and the old guard and the CNN and these guys, they're more paranoid.
I about fell on the table. Are you serious? I mean, first of all, you like Bernie.
I'm totally serious.
But you're going to vote for
some liberal ideas.
You're going to vote for Trump? Seriously?
No, I'm totally serious.
Where are you anyway? What state are you in?
I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Virginia. Okay, well then you may have already voted for him.
No, I didn't even vote in the primary.
Okay, you're going to the general.
I've only voted twice since I've gotten.
You're going to the. You are going to the general, though, right?
Going to? Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, at this point. But I think it's exciting. I think what we're seeing is that the people are that sick of everything, and that they're waking up. They're slowly waking up and saying, just like the movie Network. They're opening the windows and saying, I can't stand it, and, I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's scaring the hell out of the status quo.
Oh, it certainly is.
Yeah. And the more paranoid they get, doesn't it make you feel like, gee, even so, the more paranoid the status quo gets, the more it makes me feel like we're doing the right thing by going for Trump.
Well, you may be right. I mean, you're jumping harder than I am, but, let me read this to you, sir. It's what I said, and again, I don't frequently come up with something that I really like myself, but I wrote this back when, actually March 3rd. Donald Trump may or may not be what America wants or needs, but one thing for sure, the establishment that so hates him has brought this on themselves by again and again failing to do the things they promise in election after election. Yes, there's anger, and they have only themselves to thank for it. Is that about what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. I mean, we're the richest country in the world, and look what's happened with the educational system in the last 30 or 40 years. Look what's happened with our infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Everything falling apart. We're a mess. We're just going in the wrong direction, and it's like evaporation. The money in the country just evaporates and goes up to that 1/10 of 1%, it seems. And people are just tired of that.
Yes,
you have a lot of people guys that have to work, or even women that have to work 2 jobs just to get by.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I say I'm liberal in the sense that I would like to see the minimum wage raised to something like $15 an hour, because I think then you'd find that these people have a little bit more respect for themselves, and they wouldn't have to maybe pull robberies or maybe do drugs because they're so depressed. I think there's a lot of pluses that could be had. So that's what I mean about being liberal. I think that...
so in other words, give them $15 an hour so they don't rob places.
Well, $15 an hour, because if you're working in McDonald's getting, what do they get, $9 an hour?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Not much, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, think about that, though. You work 40 hours at, say, $9 an hour, and then by the time the government's done taking everything out, you get $280. How are you going to support a family or do anything?
Oh, that's true. It's true. Yeah. The middle class, really roughing it.
It's evaporating, too, just like the money.
No, it is, sir. You're absolutely right. And everything else that he talks about, I agree with as well. Look at our roads. God, what a mess. I remember back when I was young that you would drive out west. You'd hit the California roads, and when you got to California, the roads were like heaven because they were relatively new at that point, right? They were great. Just cruising along smooth as can be. But the roads in California now are a holy disaster, quite literally. The bridges aren't safe. And, yeah, America has been deteriorating, and in meaningful ways, too. What is it we are? Number what in education now? Richest country in the world. Come on. We can't educate people? That's the future. You don't have an educated population, you certainly aren't going to have jobs no matter what. At least anybody can do them. Okay, let me go to, looks like Hayes, Kansas, I guess. Hello?
From the Great Plains of Kansas, this is James listening to you on a software-defined radio on WTWW.
Way to go. 5085 on your shortwave dial.
Actually, it's a software-defined radio. It's a little USB tuner that I have run up to a long wire antenna and a digital antenna.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know we can be heard on shortwave. They just don't know that.
Oh, it's great. We transmit worldwide. They're a great group of people.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so I wanted to weigh in on the whole Trump thing, but first I think I want to ask a question that all of your diehard fans should be asking. How did Asia do on the regional spelling bee?
Okay, see what you think of this. I'm no fan, by the way, of Common Core, but Asia did this. She won the spelling bee in her classroom. That was the first thing she did. Then she won against a third grade class in the school. And then she's representing the school, the whole school. She went on to the big spelling bee, district-wide. But here's what I thought was a little bit unfair. She got knocked out in like round 11 or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but what I thought wasn't fair was that they gave third, fourth, and fifth graders were all lumped together. Now, how can that be fair? I mean, she did really, really well, and she beat all the other third graders, but really, by the time you're in fifth grade, you're at a whole new level of expertise in spelling. Anyway, that's what she did. She went quite a very long way in it, and I was so proud of her. So proud of her. So, down in like round 11, something like that, but up against fifth graders, fourth and fifth graders at the same time. So, yep, Daddy's proud of Asia. She did so well. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad you're getting to enjoy your family.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. With the whole Trump thing, my thing with Trump, the thing that I'm worried about, is he seems pretty hot-headed, and he seems like he refuses to admit when he's made a mistake. And I don't know if I want a guy like that with a nuclear football at his disposal.
So, in other words, if he pushed the button and sent the intercontinental ballistic missiles with thermonuclear warheads toward Russia, you don't think he'd apologize? Realize what
it was. I think that we wouldn't get a chance to hear an apology, but that's just my take on it.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I know a lot will grind their teeth when I say it, but I think there are two Donald Trumps. One that is campaigning for office and another one that would help the country. Just my take on it, he'd make good deals. And that's what politics is. It's deal making. Do I think he'd get angry at, have a hot phone call with Putin and then push the button? No, I really don't. Although that's an issue that people are going to worry about. Do you remember a long time ago, are you old enough to remember the nuclear mushroom cloud inside the little girl's eye? It was an election long, long ago that most of you probably don't remember, but that was used against a politician. The concept of a little girl's eye, and the camera came zooming in on the little girl's eye, and there was a nuclear mushroom cloud. And, of course, the inference that that man is going to get us into a nuclear war. On Skype, Rhonda, I believe it is. You're on the air.
Hello, Art.
Hello.
This is Rhonda in Arizona.
Hey.
I got to tell you, I work in the ER, and a few weeks ago, before flu season, I turned some people on to your man flying into Area 51 call.
Oh, yes.
I had ER doctors and surgeons and nurses glued to the YouTube. That night, I kid you not, this light kept going on in a room that there was no patient in. Happened 4 times. Do you know what that room number was?
No.
It was 51.
Room 51. Really?
How weird is that? Nobody in the room, and the light just kept going on all by itself.
Yep. Fairly weird, I would say.
We miss you. Shout out to DM Talk, and your voice is awesome.
Well, so's yours. Thank you very much for the call, and
right.
and take care. DM Talk. Yeah, they follow the show along. Just in that room, huh? Room 51. I think that if I went to the hospital and they assigned me to room 51, I do favor that number. And by the way, I meant to mention there is a new area. Do you know that? I didn't. Area 51, just over the hill from me here. And now the brand spanking new so-called Area 6. Now, Area 6 is interesting. It is located inside the area where we tested nuclear weapons. So you would think it would be hotter than a firecracker, even this many years later. But I guess they don't get a lot of, intruders. You'd be out of your mind, right? Going to Area 6? No, I don't think so. You can hear the rads clicking from here. So I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what I've heard, that there is an Area 6. Wouldn't you like to know what they're doing there? Let's go to the phone, and hello, you're on the air, wherever you are.
Hello, Art.
Hello.
Mike in Montana.
Hey.
I was listening earlier about the Trump thing, and my wife kind of likes him. She's wanting somebody to really do a change on the country, to maybe turn things around.
Your wife wants him. What do you want?
Well, I'm in a predicament where I can't do anything. I'm one of the disenfranchised from ever voting again.
Well, they have little pills for that.
Yeah, but right now there's about 50 million of us. 350 million.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you.
There's like 1 out of 7 that can't vote, ever.
Because, let me guess, they have a record.
Either a record or, something that prevents them from voting, either by being illegal, alien, or, you could have a record. But there's roughly 50 million people in this country that still can't vote. And I'm just kind of concerned that one day that, they're going to say, okay, yeah, well, y'all can vote. I think Obama was probably the one that was going to do that, but he never did.
Sir, they won't even give illegal aliens driver's licenses in most states, but the concept of having them voting is absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. So I don't mind that people here who are here and have broken the law to get here can't vote. It doesn't bother me one whit.
Oh, I agree, too.
Good.
I just... I kind of think that the whole system, though, is in the last 20 years, it's been stacked against people in general. And I hate to say it's been aimed at the middle class to kind of tone us back so we don't have a voice anymore. I think they've taken too many liberties with...
Okay, so do you have this famous anger, sir? I mean, would you, or maybe your wife, angry?
Well, no, she loves Trump. She thinks he'll help the country. And I was in manufacturing for 38 years. I just lost my job here a year ago, but it's the country has been on a downslide for a long, long time. And I just see it, if Trump can't do it, who can? I mean, really. I mean, Cruz he reminds me of the Penguin.
Listen, we've got a break. You want to hang on?
Sure.
All right. Stay right where you are.
And as always, we're muted just for their musical bumper. We'll be back with them when they return.
On the wild side of midnight, from the kingdom of Nye, this is Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell. Please call the show at 1-952-225-5278. That's 1-952-CALL-ART.
It is, and you can get to us on Skype too. Here in North America, we're MITD51. That's MITD51 on Skype. And outside of North America, rest of the world, it's MITD55. MITD55. Let it ring till it's answered. You'll know when you hear audio from the show that you're close, so don't hang up. All right, we were discussing, I believe, your wife's anger, sir.
She likes Trump, but my concern about him is I know he'll have to work with Congress. Will they work with him? And I imagine internationally he has a... Yeah, well, that's what he's been saying. I just don't know how he's going to do that.
He has not ruled out waterboarding.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Congressman, they're going to fold just like that. Gurgle, gurgle, and they agree.
I hate to say this, but in war, there shouldn't be really any rules.
Okay, now you're over to war.
There should be win or lose, and we can't afford to lose. Because they don't play by any rules.
No, they don't. Something that Trump has been pointing out, and he's right. They play by no rules whatsoever. Now, we have to have some, I guess, rules. But
my dad fought in Vietnam, and he said it was nuts.
Yeah,
because he expected them to line up, and they never did. They came from all sides, everywhere, out of the ground, dropping out of trees. He said it was insane.
It was insane. More ways than one. The whole war was insane.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
And we still haven't learned to stay out of people's civil wars.
Yeah, we're still trying to influence everybody to think the way we do.
We are.
And I'm not so sure we're doing such a great job ourselves.
Again, that's something Trump has said. He said, for example, some of the guys that we've knocked down, regime change. It hasn't worked out well. That's an understatement, right? It has not worked out well. And I do agree with that. If you're going to go to war, go to war. I mean, really go to war. And there are not many rules in war. There is the Geneva Convention. He's got to follow the law. He's got to adhere to it, right? Yeah, again, I'm going back to this safe haven of mine, and that is that they brought it on themselves. Let's go to Skype and... Crypto Lord, that's your name, is it?
Art, so good to hear you tonight.
Okay, so somebody named Crypto Lord ought to have an opinion on Apple and the government, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say about that. I kind of think that Apple should stick by their guns on it. And not, give up the code or anything.
I am in agreement with that. I figure somebody named Crypto Lord is like really, really into the internet and tech stuff like that, right?
Yeah, remember I emailed you that time about Windows 10. In fact, I've got a good story about Windows 10 for you. Did you put 10 on your computers yet?
No, I have not. I'm not buying into it. I'll tell you why. I had this giant message inviting me once again to Windows 10, telling me that there could be no file left behind or something enticing like that. And I thought, cool. And then there was a little thing that said, check your system next to it to see if there might be any files left behind. And sure enough, it gave me a little list of files that would be left behind. Get that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, no, I haven't gone to 10.
Yeah, my friend, I'll give a shout out to my friend Tristan. He lives out here in the San Diego area, too. He's the one who turned me on to your show years and years ago when, you were first on. He was in his garage working on his motorcycles a couple nights ago, and he left his computer on sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So he was gone for about 3 hours, and he was getting the same messages you were getting.
Mm-hmm.
So he came back in from the garage and took the computer out of sleep, and Windows 10 had installed itself.
There was actually a rumor going around, sir, that there was going to be a day when they were going to do it to you whether you wanted it or not.
Well, it happened to him. He's got Windows 10 on there. He's
well,
not
maybe
too
he
happy
just
about
inadvertently hit the wrong thing, or there might have been a little power surge, or who knows. And a non-response turned into a yes, convert me. I'll take it now.
Hey, Art, can I ask you, since you've been away from the mic for a while now, have you been eating any more light bulbs? I remember that one of those last shows you had, and I remember you were on Periscope holding the light bulbs up, and I was thinking about that tonight when you came on.
I did. I didn't think it did any good to do that, but I did go on Periscope. I held up a real light bulb, and then well, let me ask, did you buy it? When you heard that crunch, did you think that I had done it?
50-50. So maybe you've got some potato chips sitting there next to you, or you're actually eating that light bulb.
Yeah. Those good old days. Anyway, is that it? Anything else?
One last question I keep forgetting to ask you when I've called up in the past. Whatever happened to the Trans Am? Do you still have your Trans Am?
Damn right I do.
All right. Isn't it a 98?
Firebird Trans Am, 98, yeah. I saw it, sir, on the Super Bowl. They trotted it out on the Super Bowl, and it was probably right around halftime. You know, I was in a pretty good mood. And here comes this Firebird Trans Am. Oh, this incredible color. Not black, not purple, but sort of a tinge of purple. It was actually the color was called Midnight Maybe. And this thing looked like an animal. And it is an animal. It's 6 forward speeds. And, yeah, you bet I've got it. Still got it. Low mileage, garage kept, a thing of true, no matter how you crack it up and talk about it, true beauty. I mean, true beauty. Overseas on Skype, you're on. Hi. Hello on Skype. Going once. Going twice.
Hey, Art, Johnny Webb.
There you are. Where were you? Across 2 rooms?
Sorry, fella. Yeah, I was in the other room for just a second now. I heard you talking with your other friend about the light bulbs and curly bulbs. Though you've got to worry about, especially if they burst. They're toxic.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat either one of them, actually.
But anyway, look, I'd like to welcome you back. It's great to hear your voice again. It's good to hear you.
Thank you.
Regards to you, Keith and Heather. Great top show you're doing. But the questions I've got for you, if you've got a couple of minutes, I'd like to ask your opinion on a couple of things. You know, today on the news, I saw that Newt Gingrich, the former congressman there, claims that Donald Trump don't have the backing of the big club. And I was wondering, is that a Bilderberg Club, a Club of Rome, or the Illuminati Club, I'm thinking? Because I remember George Carlin.
I don't think he's got the backing of any big clubs, really.
Yeah, not in it.
Maybe a golf club?
And also, with Donald Trump, if he does win, I'm a bit concerned because I remember these cards that was out and about in the 80s and 90s called the Illuminati cards, pictorial cards.
Where are you? You're not even in America, right?
No, I'm in London, England.
You're in London. Okay, there you have it. So what can he possibly do to you in London?
Well, if he gets in, I think that like it might be a good thing because I think that we'll separate from Europe and we'll get our independence back, and I think he'll back us. I think if we get our independence and say, you know, the other guy gets in, or you know, Mrs. Well, I worry if she gets in.
Hey, have you seen London Has Fallen yet?
Yeah, I have, and I'm a bit disturbed by it because it says that like the Metropolitan Police can't choose their policemen properly, and I'm wondering there is quite a few sort of internationals that have come in and been part of our police and also been part of our MI6, So
Yes.
we have internationals that come in and are members, obviously to cope with the internationals that we have here. But yeah, it was very disturbing, Art. I thought that if anything, it was trying to break ties with England and America, saying that we're not trustworthy enough to be with America. But the truth is I think that if you look at the backbone of this club, they're all very, very closely tied,
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the drones, Art. You talked about getting a new drone, and there's some quite good ones on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned Area 6, part of the Area 51. And my understanding is that's a DARPA, Department of Advanced Research Program agency, and it's a drone base. But what concerns me?
Well, why would they put it right in the? Why would they put it right in the middle of the area? Where we exploded the atomic bombs, did all the testing.
Well, that's the Trinity area, isn't it? And it was sort of carved up into numbers in a grid reference, and that's how we get, Area 51 and Area 6. It's grid referenced from the Trinity system of, the 40s.
Well, if you were there, would you be a happy drone operator in the middle of Area 6, knowing that you're probably glowing?
Well, what concerns me about it is that if these drones are coming out of Area 6, they're not like an international flight where they carry gallons and gallons of fuel so they can go international. It says to me that they're working over your country. They're looking over your people.
No doubt.
And that disturbs me,
Well,
but, I'm not trying to scaremonger you. They may well be looking after your safety. You know what I mean? So let's look at it in that light as well.
The whole idea, sir, of drones, the whole idea of drones is creepy. I mean, somebody asked me on the wormhole what drone I have. I have the 3 Advanced, the DJI 3 Advanced. And now they have one, or actually a couple ahead of that, but the new one has collision avoidance. Anyway, the whole concept of drones is a little freaky, or a lot freaky. Even my little drone at about 250, 300 feet of altitude, you can't see that baby. Especially if it's a bright sky, anywhere near the sun, you absolutely can't see it. Even against a blue sky, it's about disappeared from my old eyes. You definitely can't hear it. And above that, it's invisible. So most of the time, you're not going to know when a drone's over you. Now, when you take the big drones, the ones that can really spit at you, they fly really high, probably 5,000, 10,000 feet higher, with great photography. Make even 4K video look silly. So they can loiter over an area, which they do. And then, of course, they can disappear you. Now, you will never hear what's coming at you. It's coming probably speed of sound plus, right? So you're never going to know that you're dead. You're never going to hear anything before you die. You're just going to disappear. You're going to cease to exist. And our president has been criticized for using too many of them. I wonder how you feel about that. It's another good question. Let's go to Skype and Brad. Hello, Brad.
Hey, Art. How are you?
I'm very well, sir.
That's good to hear. I actually just happened to check in with you. My wife and I were coming home from a midnight movie and put on Tune In Radio, Dark Matter, and you're on. So
and here I am.
Great to hear you. Yeah. I actually was calling, and I'm hoping it's open lines in general. I know you were
talking about totally open, whatever.
I've been meaning to call and sort of ask a story. When you had, I believe it was David Weatherly on, back in the fall, and he was talking about shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
I had an experience, or rather 2 experiences in my life that Dr. Weatherly was talking about, and it kind of triggered something in me. I had felt years ago that I had a haunted mirror in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd had an experience one night. It was sort of around the time of my father's death. An old mirror, sort of an antique mirror that my ex-girlfriend had in the bedroom. One night it was as if a cloud started coming out of this mirror. And I was fully awake, somehow too concerned to wake my girlfriend at the time because I just thought it seemed too crazy, but it just seemed like this dark, malevolent cloud was coming out of this mirror into the room.
Yeah.
Years sort of passed by, and that was the only time that I ever felt this sort of dark shadow entity. And I thought maybe it was just...
Well, did you see an entity or just yourself?
Well, I was lying in bed. It was actually, really late. I was listening.
Sometimes when I look in the mirror, it looks like a dark, evil entity looking back to me.
Well, I'm quite familiar with that phenomenon as well. But years later, I thought that maybe it was just stress, from around the time that my father was really ill at the time.
Yeah.
And it never happened again. But then, I have since, that relationship had ended and the mirror was out of my house. And, I had moved into a new house. And then there was one other experience that I had where it seemed as if a mirror in my home was releasing some sort of just shadow, malevolent cloud into my home. And, Dr. Weatherly spoke very, very briefly on your interview on Midnight in the Desert about mirrors as some sort of entry point for shadow creatures, but it was really brief, and I was just...
Well, mirrors are entry points there for all kinds of things, so, expect anything. I mean, we all know in the paranormal world that mirrors are, virtually capable of anything, to be honest with you. So I can imagine that about anything happened to you. A little bit of fog, twice in a lifetime, nothing too much to worry about, in my opinion, but you never know. Mirrors are, I'll stop there. I actually had a couple of experiences, and I don't really want to talk about it, but I've had one with a shadow person. Finally, all those years talking about it, I had an experience with a shadow person. Christopher overseas somewhere. Hello. Hello. It's the sniffer. Christopher the sniffer. Hey, Christopher.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Oh, no, this is Josh.
Josh?
Yes, from Arizona.
From Arizona? Oh, Josh. Yeah. You're on the international Skype connection, so I'm sorry, but you're going to have to call on the other one. That's so cruel, right? I didn't take his jacket, but, he's going to have to call on the other one. Let's go to the phone lines and say, hello, you're on the air. Hello. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, attention. Are you there or not? Going once, going twice, going three times, you're gone. And West Virginia would appear to be next.
That's me, Art.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. I explained to Heather one night that I had listened to you for years and years on the radio and never called in.
Okay. Well.
And she said I should have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finally calling in.
Yes.
Just to say, nice to hear you on the radio again.
You waited years for that?
Yes, I waited years for that.
Well, appreciate the effort to actually make it through and say that, but say something of substance.
Okay, something of substance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, I'm a very, very into time travel. And I enjoyed, when you come back, the show you did with Madman Markham.
Oh, yes. Yes. All my life, I have been intrigued by the concept of time travel. Have you seen the movie Frequency?
No, I haven't.
Then I highly, highly recommend it. If you're into time travel, you're going to love Frequency. I mean, really love it. My wife, who watched it recently, was reduced to tears by that show. She actually cried. Not once. We saw it twice. She cried both times. That's how good it is. Also involves amateur radio, ham radio, by the way. But it's a big-time time travel movie. So anytime I see a movie, even remotely into that area, I jump upon it. It was really an amazing movie. All right, let's see. I have so many Skypes calling that I can't see who I've got. All right, there we go. Got you out front. And your name is Josh, I believe. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, Art.
Hi.
How's it going? Hey, I was wondering, with you being out there and everything, were you able to catch the new X-Files?
Oh, sure.
Did you catch Heather's interview with...
I did. I caught part of Heather's interview, and I saw all of the X-Files episodes. There were some people a little disappointed in a couple of the episodes. How'd you feel?
I actually thought they did a pretty good job. The thing is, the 6th episode made my jaw drop, because now I'm thinking, okay, well, are they going to come out with another 6 episodes? Are they going
How can you possibly end it that way and not have more episodes?
Yes, and the other thing too is a long time ago, when I was in Scouts, and everybody would talk about fireballs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing one that was bright orange, almost like the size of a basketball from a distance.
Right.
And it's just crazy to see those things. So.
Yeah, I see them all the time, or I used to anyway, driving back and forth to Las Vegas, and I would see things big as basketballs and bigger streaking across the sky, actually lighting everything up. Not quite daylight type light, but very, very bright. Out here in the desert, you definitely see that sort of thing. It's really cool. And the stars at night, the stars. Let's go right here in Pahrump, Nevada. You're on the air. Hi.
Hey, Art.
Hello.
Hello.
You're here in Pahrump, Nevada, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You tell them, how cool are the stars from here?
Oh, they're beautiful. I love the stars at night.
Yeah. From horizon to horizon, all Milky Way. It's incredible.
Yes. I want to tell you what made me a believer in UFOs.
Okay.
I lived in Arizona right after I got out of the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to a dinner party at a friend's house. And his driveway is about a half a mile from the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this dark object. It's about 6 o'clock, and there's still daylight, but the sun had gone down behind the mountain. And this dark object with a bright light, probably about 400 feet up in the air, was shining down on a cow in the pasture.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got up to the door, I knocked and I go, come out here. Everybody come out here and look at this. And I was just amazed by this. And I told my friend, I go, you know what? You're busted at it. I think they found your plants out there. He goes, I don't have any plants out there in the pasture. And I go, well, what is this? What's this light? And no noise. It was totally silent. And then about that time, 2 jets come into view, coming into the valley where I was.
Chasing it, you think?
And it wasn't chasing it because this was hovering, a black object hovering. As soon as the jets got probably 8 to 10 miles from it, it went off, the light went off, and in a blink of an eye, it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there were humans in that. You know anything about G-force? If there was human beings in that object,
they'd have been jelly.
They would have been jelly. Yeah. And the jets just kept following, kept going in the same direction. They never changed direction.
Now, was that a local sighting here in Pahrump?
No, this was in Arizona.
Arizona, I'm sorry, that's right.
About 80 miles from Snowflake. You know where Travis Walton lives?
Snowflake.
Snowflake. And I was about 80 miles from there. And this was back in 1980.
Well, since you are in Pahrump, have you ever seen anything here? Because we do have a lot of sightings here.
Yeah, I've got 2 photographs I'd like to show you of things that I've actually taken pictures of. And I don't know what they are. And everybody I've showed it to, even my wife, they can't explain it either.
All right, that's good enough for me. So, yeah, send it. Send it. It's Art Bell at knye.com. That's me, Art Bell, at knye, kilowatt Nancy, yokohamaeasy.com. And if you've got really good photos of something, I'll put them up. Someday.
we will actually leave Art Bell there for that evening. We will be back with him one more time tomorrow night to conclude his final program. As it seems, at least for now, he's finally got out from the political talk. So let's turn on the sounds of Dominion without having to go looking for Karens or anything else to conclude. As we can go ahead and do one more trip through the dungeon. I said dungeon. Thank you. Okay, so we start with room 721. Now you might ask why I don't put the shield out immediately, because for Hyperion to do his heal, the particular Titan has to actually have taken some damage of any kind in that round before Hyperion can heal. If the guy doesn't take no damage, then Hyperion cannot use his ability on him. So I had to wait till one of the two fired something at Sigurd, so he physically took something. Then I could throw up his shield so Hyperion could heal. As we wait for our next fight. See, the thing is, while the heroes do get fully reset every fight, the Titans do not. So you do have to manage. The Titans only get reset each new dawn of a day in Dominion. Yeah, that'll work. Alrighty, down to the back end we go. On the return trip, we still have plenty of cards. We'll start using them. And finally, activate the spear. We'll get to start at 7:21 tomorrow. Alrighty. So with that, just make sure that everything else has been done so we can bring this pretty baby down for a coast. So with that, as always, please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals of 5,000 viewers of Boxing Extras and 1,000 subscribers of YouTube. So they start sending us items so we can send them to you, our lovely watchers. Coinbase information, of course, below. Fill that out to get your $10 free in Bitcoin, and then Coinbase Learn, less than 2-minute lessons, 1-question quizzes to get yourself another $100+ in crypto free for doing so. Till we do meet tomorrow for the next day of here. Of course, always like, share, and subscribe. Be nice to one another, and come back and join us again for more from day one.